Foreign spouses can begin applying to go home to Thailand as ministry has released entry criteria. The breakthrough last weekend allowing foreigners with spouses and residency to enter the kingdom has been followed up after Wednesday's consultations with clear criteria now being made available by the Ministry of Foreign Affairs in Bangkok. It represents significant progress for foreigners seeking access, and the key to this is that foreigners with links to Thailand are being treated separately to tourists as Thai officials scrap over the operation of proposed tourism bubbles which, despite this week's reigning confusion, could still go into limited effect in July. Following last weekend's breakthrough allowing entry to Thailand for spouses of Thai nationals, the Ministry of Foreign Affairs now appears to have provided definite criteria to Thai embassies worldwide, and the process of submitting applications can begin for tens of thousands of stranded husbands and wives who can at last look forward to being reunited. However, it is clear that it is still going to be a demanding and expensive process. Following this week's follow-up meeting between officials regarding measures agreed last weekend to facilitate the return of foreigners into Thailand, where it was agreed that there would be a twin-track approach. One for specified groups such as spouses of Thai nationals and those with residency permits to be processed by the Ministry of Foreign Affairs on a case-by-case basis, and the other, through tourism bubbles. There is now further progress. This week's breakthrough, agreed on Sunday, was announced on Monday by Deputy Spokesman for the Ministry of Foreign Affairs in Bangkok, Natapon Nunopakan. It has been reported extensively in the last few days that problems have arisen over the terms and modus operandi for the alternative tourist bubble arrangements, which in the short term are to be aimed at business travelers, medical tourists and those seeking access to teaching jobs in Thailand. Despite the confusion, it is understood that it may still be possible for limited tourism bubbles with countries such as Japan, and specifically for business travelers may proceed as early as July. Entry for spousal partners goes ahead smoothly. However, in the meantime, it does appear that agreement has been reached on the criteria for entry to be applied to foreign spouses. On Friday, the Thai embassy in London forwarded a list of criteria to the spouse of a Thai national seeking access to the country to be reunited with his wife. The requirements are quite similar to those already being required of work permit holders who are currently being processed and have been entering the kingdom for the past few weeks. 14 days of alternative quarantine is the key requirement, and an expensive one for most people. Chief among the requirements is participation in the government's alternative 14-day quarantine scheme. This has been the deal-breaker this week for the tourism bubble proponents in government, as the powerful COVID-19 administration center rejected proposals from senior ministry officials to let tourism begin on a limited plane, even for approved countries without a mandatory 14-day quarantine scheme. Spouses returning with extra family members. The problem for many foreigners, of course, will be the expense, which ranges now from $45,000 per person to $144,000. There is also the added complication of foreigners with particular requirements. For instance, those with Thai family members who will also be required to be quarantined, as is the case for all passengers. Of course, Thai nationals are theoretically eligible for state quarantine facilities. There are also reports that some hotels are allowing families to share a room, although the cost implications are not yet being made clear. Smokers out of luck. Quarantine is strictly a no-smoking experience overseen by health professionals. The other issue is for foreigners who are smokers. This is strictly prohibited at all quarantine centers under the current regulations. A spokesman for the Movenpick BDM Wellness Resort in Bangkok, which is one of the most popular alternative quarantine centers, has confirmed to the Thai Examiner that the hotel is strictly non-smoking and that under the guidelines laid out under the scheme, smoking is strictly prohibited. "We are not allowed to have smoking on the hotel premises," said the spokesperson. All hotels in the alternative quarantine scheme are working with a partner hospital and the ministry. As part of the alternative quarantine scheme, all hotels are working in partnership with hospitals to a standard laid down by Thailand's Ministry of Public Health. This includes daily health monitoring of those in quarantine and specifically specifies that no hotel can take part in the program with carpets. There is also great care being taken to ensure that the food served in hotels as part of the scheme helps boost the human immune system to fight against any potential for infection. Thai marriage certificate must be submitted with a copy of their partner's Thai passport. The other key requirement, for foreigners with spouses in Thailand, is to submit a marriage certificate to the relevant embassy or consulate along with the passport of the Thai national that the foreigner is married to. Each case is still considered on a case-by-case basis by ministry officials in Bangkok and must include proof that the applicant has health insurance in place to cover all eventualities, including cover against the COVID-19 disease to a value of $100,000. 2 health certificates and associated tests. The requirements also include a demand for 2 health certificates. One to suggest that the applicant is fit to fly within 72 hours of the air flight and the other certifying that the passenger is COVID-19 free. Given the length of time it may take to approve applications and the uncertainty that still surrounds flights, the embassy warns that tests may have to be conducted again for these 2 certificates if there is any change in flight plans. Signed declaration and air flight tickets. Applicants must also submit the flight booking for traveling to Thailand as well as their own passport. The Ministry of Foreign Affairs also wants to see a declaration signed by the applicant agreeing to terms of entry into Thailand, which will be endorsed by the relevant embassy, as well as evidence that an alternative quarantine package has been fully paid for. Hundreds of thousands of foreigners knocking on Thailand's door to get in and get on with life. This information represents some further progress for foreigners stranded outside Thailand. This week, amid the controversy concerning the travel bubble proposal, it became clear from figures released by the Ministry of Foreign Affairs for those who have already registered to enter the kingdom and figures showing the numbers that have already been processed through the alternative quarantine scheme that demand for entry into Thailand now extends to hundreds of thousands of people. It highlights again the point made by many observers that the extended foreigner community in Thailand is a strategically important and valuable component of the country's economy, and that the now closed tourism industry, which government leaders have indicated this week will be permanently reformed in the aftermath of this crisis. Further reading. Marriage partners of Thai nationals prioritized for entry into Thailand but under strict controls to be announced. Key ministries met on Sunday to discuss access by foreigners to the kingdom and a tourism relaunch. Thai public says no to foreign tourism and also predicts 1 to 2 years for travel to return to normal. Only hope for foreigners locked out of Thailand is easing continues with strict controls on entry. Ministers suggest an easing of the travel ban for some tourists but a continued state of emergency. Thailand plans to prioritize Asian countries in its search for safe COVID-19 tourism bubble partners. Australian envoy says his embassy and others continue to work on helping stranded foreigners get home. Access to Thailand opening up. It will be cautious, quite expensive with tight regulation and ministry controls. Thai security chief suggests a full reopening of the kingdom to international flights from July 1. New normal for foreigners seeking access to Thailand even after flights resume if virus persists as a factor. Growing concern and frustration among a large number of expats cut off from their families in Thailand. Australian man's heartbreak cut off from his Thai wife. Begs to be included on repatriation flights. Thailand extends ban on inbound flights until July 1 at the earliest, blow to foreigners and tourism. Spouses of Thai wives down under denied access to limited repatriation flights from Australia this week. Australian retiree is spending his own pension money on supporting the poor during the crisis in Chiang Mai. Stranded 66-year-old German tourist seeks help on the street from a Good Samaritan in central Bangkok. Police in Phuket await post-mortem results after deaths of 2 elderly Westerners last weekend at home. Stranded Russians offered free food in Phuket as Aeroflot begins to airlift over 21,000 stranded home to safety. Thai expats stranded overseas due to COVID-19 travel restrictions. Farangs stranded abroad due to lockdown in Thailand.